Hey hoes, I'm Crit.
I'm Vi.
And I'm Donato.
And welcome to Island Fever, where grown-ass Pacifica people talk about doing grown things. And today we have a very special guest, Jason Dupuy, also known as Salina EsTitties. Why are we laughing, Jason?
We're like, who's Jason?
And that's on Dupuy.
Oh my God.
Hey, we breaking shit out here. No, so me and Jason, we know each other from AA from back in 2017. You know what I love seeing how, because I remember back then you was talking about like you wanted to be on Drag Race, and then to see you now doing your thing.
2017, I was doing drag for like 5 years at the time, and I had been auditioning already, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I also had a lot of struggles. So I was like, I don't want to be a drag queen because I want to be a hot boy, but I keep this other way. I'm getting booked and I'm making money, so I don't know. And it was such a thing, and now it's like, oh, hello.
This is it.
This is what I do. Yeah.
Shit. You know, one thing I remember we was in a car, and I remember you was in drag, I think, and you was like talking about your pussy. I was like, oh wait, you got a pussy right there. And I was like, it kind of like startled me for a second, because I just come to like West Hollywood and like.
So you were new to the culture
yes,
of it all.
I was like, no pussy.
It's my metaphorical pussy. Yeah. You know, and like I love it to be touched and felt.
Yeah,
You know?
Not to be confused with the bussy.
That's very different. The bussy is something else. You need permission to enter the bussy, but the pussy you can touch and feel.
Yeah.
It's
The essence.
The energy, the essence of puss.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, but do you remember I was messing around with your roommate at the time?
Oh, you
No,
were?
did you know that?
Not Crit fucking with the roommate.
No, I had a whole, like, it was a whole. No, hell no. No, but you know what? The gag is, and we can bleep this out, by the way.
Which one? I have so many roommates.
No, I know. I was fucking with.
Oh.
And then. No.
I know. Everyone knows. Work. I'm jealous.
No.
Started that work on my balcony in my apartment.
Wow.
So I watched him become a global and supernatural, international sensation.
Okay.
You had a taste before that.
I gotta move in.
You come to my place to be a star. Hey,
That was
a fun time. That was a time in my life where like all the kids were like, we kind of had like I got sober at 21 years old, so me and all the young kids kind of like made my apartment the hub where we would all hang out and do stuff and stay sober and watch Drag Race and do all the things and throw ass and all the, cry about boys and film porn on the balcony for our, like, Chirac would be like, can you take nudes for me? Sure. That was the vibe. It was, and like around that time, we had been sober for a minute, so we were all kind of like transitioning to like a next phase of our adulthood. We were sober a minute, so like what's next? And you came around that time.
That's so beautiful. It's the house. Right?
And now I'm the only one that's there, which is interesting. I was cleaning it last week because it's been a mess since I've been on the show. I've had drag everywhere, all over my apartment. You could barely walk in it. It's time to clean, so I finally have been cleaning. I'm like, oh, I can like. It's weird to look at it now, and there's like water damage on the ceiling, and there's like the lights are hanging broken, and it's like. They don't want to fix it because it's rent controlled. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to complain because I want to keep my rent low. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, this place has so much history.
Yeah.
You've come through.
I know.
You were ran through in there.
Come through.
Oh my God. Anyway, welcome to
What a time.
Welcome.
We are talking about body image, and this episode is called Body Attack. And the reason why we have Jason here is because Jason has been on a journey. You looking great, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been seeing you at Gold's Gym, like doing your thing.
Well, you knew me when I met you then, I was 26, and I think that was the fittest I ever was. Yeah. I wasn't big yet. But like I was working at Barry's boot camp, and so I was like working out every day. I was doing keto at the time, and like I really slimmed down, and I was like super fit. And then I got in a relationship. Yeah. Ooh, and then I found out. I know.
Wait, who you in a relationship with?
This guy, but like. It was one of those things where I felt like I just like wanted to check off the boyfriend box, so I didn't have to focus on it. Then I was like, oh, well, I got the boyfriend, so now I can focus on career. Because before, like today I'm single and I'm like, I want a boyfriend, but I need to work, but I get very distracted with the grind and the boyfriend and this and that. So like back then that checkbox was hit. So and then I got to focus on work. But he, I don't know, I don't know. He would say things that like, I was like, fuck, I don't feel sexy. And like, I can tell he doesn't care and I don't care. So who cares? So I was just starting to eat, to try to feel comfortable and, wasn't hooking up as much, whatever. So I don't know. I got really big and then pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Got real big. And then I found out my mama was sick and I didn't really know how to process that. So then I was like, and then boom, and then I did Drag Race and I remember trying to lose weight to get on Drag Race. And I remember like, I was like trying to do keto really fast to lose some weight or something, and they didn't have the Ozempics and things yet at that time. So I was like, and so on my season of Drag Race, a lot of my clothes did not fit me well, because I was like losing weight and like while I was there, I wasn't eating carbs. So I don't know, my body fluctuates really fast. But at that time, I got off Drag Race. My mama did pass away, which didn't, ultimately that happened, and I broke up with a boyfriend, and a lot of my friends like disappeared. So then I was just left with myself, and I looked in the mirror. Well, I looked at the weight at the scale and it said 300 pounds. And I had no idea I was even that big, because I didn't feel that big, and I'm sober and I do a lot of like work on myself spiritually. So I feel good inside, but I would notice like, my outsides don't really match my insides. Let's work on this. So that's kind of what happened. And I was 300 pounds. That's kind of big, for my size, like height, I think, So it started, when the boyfriend left and then the mommy left and then all the things were gone and I was left with myself. I was like, okay, how do we move forward from this? Because I don't feel like this is me. And that the number on the scale was like, hey, this is how you're showing up. And I was like, oh shit, okay, let's work on that. It's kind of how it started my little fitness journey now, with where I'm at, which was 2 years ago. So it's been 2 years of like trying to get down. And today I'm like 198 pounds. So I've lost like 100 and something pounds. Yeah.
It's interesting too how a lot of times like bigger moments or transitions in our life lead us to go internal, whether that's like physically, your mental health, your physical health, right? I think whenever I hear people talk about what brought them to looking at health in general, it typically starts with pain, whether that's loss or maybe even sometimes we've talked about breakups here, we've talked about our own personal journeys, and it kind of sounds like for you that was the turning point of like when you decided to do something different.
I feel like when I heard about my mama's first diagnosis, I think that's kind of when I got with the boyfriend, because I was like, I don't know how to deal with this. Hey, got a man. I'm good. And then he wasn't really into me. So I was like, okay, well, hey, got some Taco Bell. You know what I mean? And it's like, I was in pain and I was trying to I wasn't dealing with the pain. So I was using outside stuff, right? Eating, sex, boyfriend, this and that. And so when all of that was stripped away, you're only left with yourself, right? So again, more pain. Like, I think you have to be in enough pain to want to shift out of something. And I think I was, especially coming off Drag Race. I'm in the view of the people of the world. And that is a lot. And to look at myself on TV, I was like, that is another aspect. So it was a lot of things coming together at once that made a beautiful thing, because now I got to look at myself and be like, okay, let's shift some stuff. I don't feel good on the outside,
Yeah, 1000%. And especially when there's so many life things happening, it could be easy to like forget the things you ultimately need for yourself to feel your best self, right? So I relate to so much of what you're putting down. Crit, Vino is a big part of my story as well. So I'm just connecting with everything that you're putting down. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go back to like for everyone, you talked about your body fluctuating. When did you first notice that, and when did you first all kind of just notice your body in general, going back to whether it's your childhood or as an adolescent?
Yeah, I think for me, I started to notice how different my body was around, the puberty age of like 12 years old, as like my gal pals are starting to develop in a certain way. My mom has always been someone with like an hourglass figure.
Yeah, so Mama's still body T.
Mama's still
body T.
And so I started to develop naturally more feminine because of like those genetics, but flat chested as hell, y'all. I remember by like 12 years old, I was starting to wear bras with my little fat tissue and like feeling my cuntiest self. And like, no, I'm for real.
Yes.
But like, I think what was one really big turning point was the year that I was 12 years old. I was going to school at Waipahu Intermediate in Hawaii. And many of my peers, like in Samoa, like living in Samoa, my body type and my body size is similar to everyone else around me, right? Like we often say like Samoans are just like bigger boned people, right? But like living in Hawaii at that time when most of my peers were like Asian
I was going to say they got the Asian mix in there. And
yeah. And
okay.
they were smaller than me, right? Like I started to question a lot of things about my body, even though I was a healthy kid. And what came out of that was I developed an eating disorder when I was 12 years old that I honestly never even talked about to my family. I had kept it hidden for years, and I never processed until therapy. About like 3 years ago, and I started to find the threads and the connections around so many other different things. But like 12 years old was really that time when like I'm comparing my body to those around me. I'm assessing what feels safe, right? Even as like a young trans person, I knew that like if I could have gotten an award for skipping so much PE,
Okay.
I would have gotten that award. Not because I wasn't into athletics, but because the way that it's structured, especially in public schools, is very gendered and doesn't create safety for trans kids. So I knew that for me, it was neither safe for me to change into my PE uniform at school in the boys' locker room or the girls' locker room. So I always made an excuse of why I didn't have my PE uniform and was forced to walk laps. And not participate in a lot of the activities during PE. And then, of course, other things that are really, really like traumatic and like just putting like a trigger warning there, like even from that young age, being assaulted in male restrooms, right? Experiencing sexual assault multiple times from like a young age and violence. Like I remember at one point, like literally getting my lights knocked out like during a lunch break, right? Because of the way I walked, right? So like questioning a lot of things about my body and whether or not like my body is worthy or like even beautiful from that young age, despite having self-confidence, right? Self-confidence tells us that you, because of the way you practice and like worked hard, that you're good at something and that makes you feel good. But I had lacked so much self-esteem, right? Feeling worthy and or beautiful within myself because of my environment. And then in the home, much of the foods that we ate growing up was like heavy in like starches and things of that nature. We eat rice with everything. That's changed now in my life in present day, but like that's kind of like when you're asking the question of where did it all begin, like these are the memories that for me come flooding in, and it's heavy stuff. But I'm so grateful I can talk about it now from like a place of strength.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know this, but for most young girls between 3rd to 4th grade is when they typically identify with like not wanting to be fat or like some level of insecurity around their body. And I think that statistic for me is pretty old, so I'd be curious what it looks like now.
Well, with TikTok and everything, they can
Yeah,
see
you know,
examples more
she's been a
easily.
therapist for a long time. Some of the studies, it's not as fresh. But, I mean, there's a big statistic that shows, you know, and I think just for me personally, yeah, that actually tracks. Around 3rd grade is when, I think conversations are happening at the house about what you're eating and how you look, because now you're school shopping. And when you have siblings like me, there was at the time 3 younger ones. Now everyone's varied in size. And so if you need the bigger clothes, now you got to go shop in different stores or different sections. And so I think as a young kid, my hyper awareness around size and like my body started typically at home, just with like, no shade to mom and dad. They did the best they could, you know, unknowingly, like making comments about what I had to wear or what I couldn't wear because of size. And then how that translates to, I think, systems like schools. Now you've got comparison to other people who are from different cultural backgrounds whose body types are built different. And then it shows up in ways of like challenging you when it comes to like abilities, right? PE specifically, sports or extracurriculars like cheerleading. Mama and daddy loved when I became the first thick cheerleader in middle school. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
But like those kind of systems, I think, really heighten awareness for a lot of us young kids.
And that's the time too, especially like, are we all 90s babies?
Yeah.
the most
Yes.
part.
We're all
Yeah.
90s,
Yeah.
baby.
I mean, I'm a little older than you. So yeah, shit.
Grandpa. No. That was. I feel like I was just watching this TikTok too that talked about how like what we watched on TV at the time had a lot of preteen, like teenage shows and television. We
Yeah.
don't have a lot of that today for teenagers to watch because everything's social media. But back then we had a lot of not representation of like ethnicities necessarily, but like of body type and transition of puberty in high school. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I had a lot of that to watch and like high school shows that I watched. So I became very aware too from the stuff that I was consuming on TV that like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what it's supposed to look like here, there, everywhere,
Yeah.
her, him over there, you know, like I thought I was like fed that through TV too of what was supposed to be the norm, you know. I think that too also adds to
And I
it.
think those standards for a lot of us, maybe even, you know, those who are not from the 90s, is it fair to say?
Wait, hold on, wait. If anyone's from the 90s, it's my ass. Y'all are probably more closer to like.
Do you
like
want
my
to say
childhood
your
is
year
90s.
you was? Oh,
I was born in '84, but like '90s is like my shit.
Goddamn.
Like, that's no, exactly. I'm a little older than everybody, but like when we talk about '90s babies, it's actually people born in the '80s whose childhoods
I
and
think the internet will disagree with you.
No,
What we
yeah.
think.
Let Crit know he's in denial now.
He's trying to pull our 90s card.
No, y'all the
because
2000s,
he's an
like-
80s baby.
come on now.
Thanks for paving the way.
You crawled so we could walk.
Right, exactly.
Very that.
Don't
Very
forget
that.
your life.
We'll give you your flowers.
No, I don't know if this was the case in your home, Jason, but for a lot of us growing up, like weight is the thing that Islanders love to talk about. Like when I walk into the room, my grandma would be like, "Oh, you're skinny," or like if my sister came in, "Oh, you've put on weight." Like that's the first before you even say hello.
Right.
Like that's the first thing they'll comment on. And so I used to feel good about myself when my grandma would like pump me up, like, "Oh, you stayed skinny and stuff." So, you know, that like I come from a very vain family as far as my mom's family goes. And so those were the things that would make you feel good about yourself as if you got validation on how you looked as far as your body goes. And so, yeah, I took notice of that very early on. But the thing is, like when I started to like play sports and stuff, I would want to put on weight because I was always like this broomstick that was like just straight up and down, no ass, no nothing, like, you know, and I'd want to have like, I want to have a six pack of muscles and stuff like that. And I just never was able to. And it wasn't until the pandemic that I finally put on weight. And I was like, oh shit, like this is what my body looks like. But at the same time, I was like, oh fuck, this is too much now. Like
Yeah.
I want to keep the ass, but everything else, like I want to slim down again. So I don't know, it's been a rocky kind of relationship, you know, trying to figure out how can I slim down in a healthy way, but still love your body regardless and no matter what stage it's at, you know. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm
Yeah.
still kind of like grappling with now. Yeah.
I feel like boys do have it a little easier in the home than the girls do. Because I remember like my cousins, it was always about their weight.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
with me, I was a big butterball, and they just called me gordito. That was gordo was my nickname, which means chubby, you know, in Spanish.
Yeah.
But it was never like shameful. It was just like, hey gordo, like hey fat boy,
Like a cutesy
You know?
nickname,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like,
But-
oh, you got fat.
But the girls had to be, you know. So I always clocked that too, that there was
Yeah.
a
Sure.
differentiation. There.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
this is how Samoans are. It's like, where la po
Yeah.
Like you
Grandma's
come up and
favorite
they're like,
phrase.
hey, you look so fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like straight to
Seriously.
your face.
Yeah.
Why are we like this?
I mean, and how many of us truly can relate to like your grandma being the first person to put you on blast about your body image, or even giving you language to reference of like, do I look fat because grandma said I'm getting fat?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I think about like our young kids and their exposure even to language to describe their bodies oftentimes does not come from a place of empowerment or a place of affirmation. It comes from a place of like criticism.
Yeah.
And like you said, even though you were a lot smaller, like the fact that you were so skinny, you need to eat more is probably assumed, which again,
No one even would say that to me. You know what? Not within my family. Other Samoan families, though,
Yeah.
and I think it goes back to the vanity of my mom's family. When I go to other Samoan families, they'll be like, "Oh, you need to eat more and try to overfeed me." Like going back to cultural, cultural norms. A lot of island families, it's the norm to like feed you as much as you can, you know, and it's like they make these big plates, and it's just not the house that I grew up in, right? Because again, going back to my mom, it was all about being dainty and fucking, you know, and I think I never got any flack for it because my mom was also a fitness freak, and so if she would force us to play sports, and like because we're out there burning so much, you know, like energy off and stuff like that. We never got a chance to really put on weight, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think across the board for a lot of marginalized communities, like BIPOC communities, we come from families where food surrounds many things, milestones, celebrations, endearments of love, right? Like food is like a surrounding source. So when we have to maybe even change our relationship with food, we think about how we have to change our relationship with family, with friends, or even just the way we organically connect now, because we've decided that our relationship is no longer healthy in that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened for me when I went on my little weight loss journey. It started off with taking a semaglutide. Is that what it's called? Because I didn't do Ozempic, so it was expensive. So I did some like generic thing. And what I learned from being on that was it changed my relationship with food. Because I was someone who like, I'm up late. I'm going to do drag, so I'm up late. And all that's open after 10 here in LA is Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, and Jack in the
And a
Box.
taco truck.
And the taco trucks, which I realize is the most healthiest
for real.
option, you know, and cheaper too, to be honest.
Yep.
So, but I would order, Postmates, McDonald's every night, Jack in the Box every night. And like that, I would eat that when I was taking the stuff at first. And I wasn't eating it as much because I wasn't as hungry. But then I started to realize like, wait, why am I know what happens when I eat this food. What happens if I eat chicken and rice or something healthier, or a vegetable perhaps, like some, I had started to ask and question my, like, what I know what happens when I eat this, what happens when I eat like this. And so I started to try that, which was different. And it's like, no one was shaming me or telling me to do anything, but I was just like, I got to have that moment for myself to sit down and look at how I was like my relationship with food. And today, I don't shame myself for if I have a Jack in the Box or something, but I know how it makes me feel when I do eat it, So I'm very conscious when I'm eating today, like, I'm going to put this in my body. And like, what's healthy, what's not healthy. Like I try to drink healthier energy drinks or like coffee, because I'm like, I know Red Bull's bad for you or, other things, but I'm learning slowly. But it is about that relationship with food and your mindset about it. I think too, that's important to clock sometimes. Yeah. And that's what I kind of learned to help me, because I did it for like 6 months, the stuff. Yeah. And then that shifted my mindset. So then I stopped doing that, and I still had that mindset though about the food, which helped me not have to need it anymore, Did
it help you more because you live alone?
Yeah, I mean, I had less influence too from people, but when friends are like, you want to go eat out, I'm like, I know they're gonna want to eat somewhere bad, but it's like, okay, well, I can say like, okay, you guys can eat there, I'm gonna go, I don't know, it's just having the conversation too and letting them know, like, that's part of it too. Like, I want to be social, I want to be with my friends, but it's like they don't struggle with the way that I struggle. Like when they eat that, they don't, they don't gain a pound of 5 next day. I do. Like my body does absorb really easily. So it's, I think too, just like, or like if I do that, then I'm like, okay, cool, let it be, or let me hit the gym afterwards. But it's like not shaming myself over having those things, but I am navigating it and letting my friends know, hey, I am trying to be good today. Do you mind if we go to Sweet Green or something?
Yeah, just when you got big groups of people, especially in AA, because fellowship is such a big part of that experience, right? Like after meetings and stuff, you're trying to hang out, and so again, if they're late meetings, where have you got to eat? So it's like, how can we think of something a bit more with a bit more variety?
And
go.
This may sound weird, but the correlation for me is like, it's top, like speaking up for yourself in that way. I get to stand up for myself because I would just go with the flow. Fine, I'll just eat there. I won't say anything. But like then I will hear people be like, "Oh, I got meal preps at home. I'm not eating out tonight." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. They're just able to like
that's
do
a
that
thing."
Yeah. I'm like,
say
because I was like, I have meal preps at home too, but I'm still gonna go because I think I need to be over here. I'm spending money and all this stuff. So it's like, no, I'm good. I don't need to eat. I'll go hang out, but I don't need to eat. Like that's also okay too. And I'm learning that for myself and just speaking up and being like, oh, I can say this. Cool, So I'm always the kind of person who just goes along for the ride. And whenever you say, let's do that, like, sure, I won't speak up for myself or what I really want to do. Or I actually want to go home, but I'm like here, tired as hell, like hanging out with these people. I'm like, I don't want to be here, but here I am, So like speaking up for myself and knowing like what I want to, I think is important. And like I've been working on that too. Along with all this.
And the results show, like I too am someone that over the last year and a half has lost an enormous amount of weight, went through this cycle of like getting sober like you, and then fell in love, got booed up, all of these other things. But what I was learning about myself and my body as I was going through these waves and transitions, right? Because it was cute when I was able to use drugs as one way to maintain a body type, right? But then when I got sober, I started to blow up, and I gained so much weight, and I had been there before at another point in my life, and I had to look at the patterns of like what in my life is supporting making this the result, right? Is it like the pressures of work? Is it influences within the home and certain choices that are basically compounding? And the other thing that I don't think a lot of people also talk about, like for me, was like my sleep was shit. Like I had been diagnosed, I think back in like 2016, 2017 with severe obstructive sleep apnea. And what that means is basically you stop breathing in your sleep. And at a level of severity, for me, when I took a sleep test, it was saying that I was having up to, I think it was like somewhere within the range of like 70 to 80 events where my body stops breathing for at least 10 seconds while I'm sleeping. And so what that means is like I could possibly not wake up.
Yeah.
And this, another layer of that, it also made me feel like very shameful about sharing or spending a night with a partner, because we like, oh, this is embarrassing. And so I would just use more drugs so I wouldn't have to go to sleep. Like the thought process was insane, y'all.
Wait, embarrassing because you had to use the machine like when you're sleeping with someone, or no? Or
yes, that's part of it. And then like
shit.
even before I had gotten the actual treatment, like I was like, okay, no, this ain't cute.
No, can you
Like
imagine
he
that?
fell in love with the doll, and he's waking up
To Bane with the fucking mask on. Shit. Damn.
to Darth Vader.
You're my daddy. No, that's monster no joke though. That's a big ass machine with the fucking
it was giving that, and like family would even make so many comments that would make me feel even more embarrassed to even talk about it. And when I was diagnosed, I'd asked my doctor at the time, I was like, is there anything that I could do? Like, do you think that if I were to lose weight? And basically what she told me was like, you could lose as much weight as you can, but it's the size of like some part within my throat.
Oh,
That is just larger than most people, that it would never go away. And so I kind of just accepted that as like a truth. And when your sleep gets fucked up, like I put on so much more weight, like got to a point where I was at 335 pounds. And like just to even like bend over and put on my shoes was like, I would be sweating, heaving. I didn't feel good in my body. Like confidence was always something like,
Right.
I'm never ugly.
Right. Don't get it fucked up.
I always felt like that girl in whatever body size, right? But like there were just other things that didn't make me feel the greatest. And so I had decided actually, y'all, to get a gastric sleeve operation. And it was a reward to myself after being sober for a year, going through breakup and navigating these things and ballooning and like, okay, I learned for myself that I actually don't really enjoy the gym, right? Connecting it back to like my childhood. Some of those spaces for me just kind of feel icky or not as safe unless I'm with other people. And so for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to stop punishing myself because I know that like the gym can be really hard for me, and utilize this as a tool to get healthy again and back on a track that for me is just, hey.
Yeah.
And so when people comment and tell me like, girl, you look good, I always respond with, thank you. But you know what? I feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what's more important than looking good.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us grow up, I mean, at least I would think for a lot of Pacifica people specifically, we grow up with these messages that like body image equals beauty. And I think it's really harmful to grow up hearing those things, but also thinking about like the messages even we share here on Island Fever. Like I want to be very clear, by no means when we reference people's previous weights up and down is not to equate it to like beauty or to equate it with like worth. I think I just have to make that very clear, because what I know as a therapist and personally is that when we hear these numbers, whether it's in your clothes or in your body weight, people are actually attaching value to that. Regardless to how the number you mentioned, it's a milestone, but that's a milestone for Salina specifically. Jason. Salina for me. And so I think it's important that we're sensitive around these things, because for myself personally, I remember a time in my life where I was very attached to a number and how unhealthy that was for my mental state. Yeah. Sure, my BMI dropped, my doctor loved it. I was the strongest and fittest I had ever been in my life. But my attachment to that number specifically was so unhealthy. Yeah,
it's like an obsession.
It was, and yes, and a lot of people don't understand this, because body dysmorphia is actually a diagnosis. It's a clinical diagnosis, right? And it occurs in the brain. So we're not even talking about like your actual behaviors. We're talking about the intrusive thoughts. And a lot of times there's like these overlaying pieces that are similar to OCD. Like we think about obsessive behaviors. We think about intrusive thoughts about things not being a certain way. Yeah. So attaching like our worth and our value specifically to what we see physically can be harmful, whether that's a number, whether that's a size, or even just sometimes like your spatial awareness, because body dysmorphia, for example, right, you can sit in this chair and have so much room and still feel like you need this couch. Although that's not the actual reality, the perception up here is that. So
I think we talk so much about, like there's these multi-billion-dollar freaking industries around weight for women and stuff, but like it's equally as embedded in men as well. Like there's so much body dysmorphia, and I think when we're talking about not attaching weight and stuff to value, but then also like not attaching it to health either, right? Because you can be skinny and slim and have a six-pack, and you could be unhealthy as hell. Like people are taking so many different substances and freaking supplements to look a certain way, but they're not feeding your body nutrition or any of those things, right? So I think that's another thing we have to deprogram, is that just because someone is lighter or has a slimmer figure or whatever, that doesn't mean they're healthier as far as the makeup of their body, but also healthy as far as their mindset. And just
the queer community too. Like I worked at In-N-Out Burger for 5 years, and I ate a lot of burgers. And can
I just say, In-N-Out ain't that good? Like, I'm sorry.
Stop it.
As far as the burgers,
I love me some In-N-Out.
Girl.
Same.
If our engagement drops, it's because of that.
I enjoyed it, and I had eat a lot of burgers, and I got really big, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go work at Barry's Boot Camp, because the people that go there intimidate the crap out of me. The one in West Hollywood is like the WeHo gays, and I'm like, they intimidate the crap out of me, but I want to lose weight and I want to be at that caliber. I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I went and got a job there, and it was really wild to like. I ended up losing weight and felt really good about myself, whatever. But the guys I would see, they look beautiful, like gods. And I like felt so intimidated and worthless around them. And and that's my own insecurity, being like a chubby Latin boy in white West Hollywood, with all these muscle studs. And I'm like, see them all together with their shirts off. And I'm like, I'm never going to be that. But all I want is for them to love me and want to touch me and all this stuff. And it's like, I'll never, ever be that. And then you talk with them for 5 minutes, not all of them. You start to look,
I ain't missing nothing.
Not all of them. But sometimes you realize, what my insecurities of like feeling like, oh, that thing that I want so bad, want to have it. It's like sometimes it's not all it's cracked up to be.
It really isn't.
Because it may look good on the outside, but the inside's disgusting.
But let's talk about the right, like being gay in Hollywood, West Hollywood in particular. Like I refuse to live in West Hollywood because that's just such a white fucking male gaze, like that's all that people desire out there. I don't fucking care for it, right? And so I think there was another thing for me coming out in LA. I was like, okay, I'm in the city now. I'm ready to be out and fucking busting wide open, whatever. And I was like, open. But I was like, all that I would interact with was these fucking white gays everywhere. And that's not, and I think that's another reason why I fucking fell in love with your roommate, is because I was like, oh, I can pull fucking like these brown and black baddies. Like that was the baddest bitch I'd ever been with, right? So I think for me, there was another deprogramming I had to do as far as like desirability goes, is like I need to let go of this need to be wanted by this particular type of person, which was this like six-pack white gay that is propped up in West Hollywood, right?
Yeah, but I think just in queer
Yes.
society culture in general.
Yes.
That was like the norm, you know. We think of the like TV shows we grew up with, like like queer
as folk,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, oh, okay, and there's Noah's Ark, but I was fed queer as folk when I was growing up, so I was like, oh, that's what I need to strive to, so aspire to be. So yeah, I definitely relate to that. But I think too, that's why I think representation is so important, and like especially POC standing up and being so visible is so important, and like so sexy. And of course, like we were talking about too, like they get their culture and vibes from POC people, so like it's sexy. And I think for me, I also had to rewire myself to be like, no, what I am can be sexy too.
Yeah.
So I get to believe that, because it's obvious I've had a lot of hookups and stuff, and people do find me attractive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's something there. They're not lying to me. So why don't I just feel sexy about myself and know that that's enough? And going back to like the body dysmorphia thing, I remember one time when I was younger, I was like newly sober. I was like 22, and I went on a hike with someone, and I was like so uncomfortable in my body because I felt so like disgusting. And he was like, do you think you're God? You think the universe wants you to feel disgusting about your body? And I was like, oh no, not at all. And he's like, so you feel disgusting, but your creation did not create you to feel disgusted. Like, you are beautiful in your creator's image. And I'm like, oh, interesting to think. I'm the one creating my ugliness based off everyone's outsides, right? Or everyone from the outside, everyone telling me, whatever, I feel like I need to feel some sort of way. But the thing is, we're all beautiful no matter where we're at, and it starts with like inside knowing that, like you're talking about, and then like letting that translate on your outside. And if it's like you look at yourself and you don't feel like you love your outsides, well, do what you need to do to make yourself feel like lovable on the outside, right?
Yeah.
But also be patient and kind to your body as well, because like I think about that all the time. I'm getting older. That's a part of the reason why I want to lose weight too, because it's like I don't want to be old drag queen in crutches because I can't walk with my leg broken because I was too heavy to lift my knee up during the pussy pop. So
it's gonna be just pussy, no pop.
Just the pop.
No, but like for me as well, right? Like, my dad died of a heart attack when he was 50, I want to say 52. And my sister's 50 now, And so for me, I'm having conversations with her, like, I'm concerned for her health, right? And then I got to remember me, like, it's not going to be long before I'm that age. And so, these things are hereditary, right?
Yeah.
And so we really do have to take better care of our bodies, And that's more than just about losing weight, but it's like treating our bodies right, treating our spirits right, It's all those things, because that shit will... just fucking compound, and that's when it's gonna hit you really bad, right? And so I guess I did want to talk about just how amazing our bodies are, how we put them through fucking hell, right? When we're talking about addiction, the substances we're using, and how its ability to bounce back, and how we really have to honor like our bodies in its entirety, right? And how that can just make the world a difference for how we live. So I don't know, do you want to talk about how treating your body with kindness, how that's really just changed your attitudes and your relationship with your body?
I think one thing I'm really grateful about each and every day now in this era of my life is the miracle of still being here, right? Like, I could have died in my sleep so many nights, right? I could have died so many times when I was like poke and prod and taken so many different things in my body that was not good for me, right? Like, the fact that I'm even here is a miracle, and I've just learned to accept that. So for me, it has been a journey of, so what am I gonna do with this gift? Now that I realize how precious, right? Everything that I survived and overcame has brought me to a moment of just more gratitude, and how do I treasure what's already here? I'm getting emotional because, even just hearing about like conversations around body dysmorphia and the messages that we tell ourselves about our own bodies can be very harmful. Like, even though like my body looks so much different now than it did a year ago, there are still some times where like I will look at a space or look at an outfit and I'm like, oh, there's no way like I could fit through there, or that could fit my body, right? Like, and it's weird. I'm learning a new way to live and just embracing it and having grace each and every moment for the fact that I still get to be here and do this thing, whatever it is.
Okay.
Sorry, was that too deep?
No, you know what, sis, when you're sharing like the vulnerability and the value of like your gratitude you have in living, that makes, I'm getting chills. It makes so much sense because we think about the realities of how heavy this shit is. When we think about our worth and our value, I'm getting so sorry, guys. I'm having a moment.
Right
I'm getting chills just because I don't think people understand the depth and the magnitude. Like, people lose their lives over this. And so I'm so proud of us to be able to have these conversations, but I wouldn't do my job if I also didn't name that people die because of complex eating and body dysmorphia. And exactly what you shared, there's so much to celebrate daily, regardless to what reason, right? Whether that's health, how you look, how you feel, like there is a milestone in being here. And so I just wanted to also just name that because I think you're speaking to a community you don't even know is out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gosh, one thing I just want to add is like me, as I'm kind of learning to love my body, and no matter what state it is, like one thing I've learned to do is like really look at myself and be like, what are things that I love about myself, you know? And I could be like, yeah, I like that I got a fat ass, yeah, I like that I got,
Period.
you know, that I like that I'm flexible and I can fucking and other ways that I love getting in my body is like dancing. I've always loved to dance, and so going out to the club and stuff. People go out to hook up and stuff, but I literally, like, if you've been out with me, I literally go out to dance. I'd be thinking I'm fucking Sierra and doing my fucking Chris Brown.
Yeah, exactly. The whole dance break routine.
But that's another thing that I love about my body, that I can move. I have rhythm, because a lot of y'all, the rhythmless nations out there. But that's one thing that I really enjoy. And so, you know, try to find the things that you really love about your body, make you feel good in your body, and that'll just, you'll develop a new relationship with it. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I think I love being a visible body for a lot of people. And that's just through the stages of size for me. Like, I love that, like you said earlier, sis, like, don't get it twisted. Confidence has always been there. Yeah. So when I think about how I feel about my body, I'm grateful for the fact that I have the ability to mold and shift and move. And if I wanted to, you know, focus on a certain muscle group, I have the ability to do so. There are folks who don't have that. Yeah. There are folks who have, you know, compromised immune systems where they're not able to go to the gym and do these things. So I think I'm constantly reminded that I have so much ability, and there's a lot for me to be grateful for. In just that.
That's the key, is that gratitude, right? Grounding yourself in gratitude. And one thing you just brought up now, like, fuck, the shit that I put my body through, Jason and Donato, I'm sure you can attest to this. Like, the number of fucking
fists.
I wasn't gonna go there. But
I think Kurt was gonna say some type of item, not a fist.
No shit. But
he did deny it.
Judgment.
This is right.
Safe space.
Right.
The body count is in the thousands, and I'm lucky not to have, you know, like HIV or anything, you know, because those are different things that can shift your relationship with your body and stuff, right? So there's other things that you have to really ground yourself in gratitude. Like, oh my God, I've put my body through so much shit, and it's still, I'm still able to fucking live and, you know, go to the gym and you know, show up like this. Like, I really have to be grateful. And a lot of the times we get so caught up in all the other shit that we don't turn to that gratitude, right? So yeah, that's just one other thing that I want to put out there as far as what I'm grateful for when it comes to my body.
Noted, it's hard to operate from a place of gratitude when you have, maybe you're disconnected from your body in some way, or your body, you know, is a visual reminder of your own trauma, your own pain. So I say this with so much love, is that take the time that you need for yourself, even though you feel this maybe around you, or even in this conversation, we're talking about how much we love and we can uplift and celebrate our bodies. I do want to reach the folks who maybe don't feel that way, because our mind and our body are best friends. So if you're not able to connect physically with that body yet, we can always start up here. We can start about the thought process about self. We can start with the thought process about love and how we extend that. It doesn't always have to look like how we're talking about it, because I recognize not everyone has that this level of appreciation for body yet.
What else do you have to share on gratitude and where your body is today?
So speaking about fists.
No, I totally relate to all of this, because like my body fluctuates so much, and like I have chichis. Like, that's always been my problem area, is like my man boobs, and like I feel so disgusting when I have to take off my shirt anywhere. I'm the kid who wore a t-shirt in the pool for years, you know, and like I went to the beach and I feel good about myself and the progress I've made. And I went shirtless in a Speedo and I was at the gay beach on Sunday. And then I saw a photo my friend sent me later and I was like, my chichis are hanging out the side and my Speedo was too tight in my rolls, and I just start breaking myself down. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna wear a sweater today at the gym, and it's gonna be, and then I go there, right? So it's like a constant. It's not like I lose weight and I'm perfect all of a sudden. It's like, no, it's a constant like daily ritual of like showing myself love, being grateful for the body I have and who I am and what I bring to the table regardless of my size, and I'm much more than just my body too. You know what I mean? I'm talented, I'm creative, I'm funny, I'm all these things, and my body does not equal my worth. So like being kind to my body at whatever stage it's at, and knowing that if I want to change something, I could do the work, and I could put the Taco Bell down if I wanted to, or I don't have to, So I'm grateful for this conversation regardless, because I feel like it is something that we don't really talk about, especially in the queer community. And like, I saw this TikTok of a guy, he's like, I don't have sit down abs right now, and I'm like, bitch, I don't have six pack nothing.
Like, so fucking cartwheeling or nothing.
If you feel that way, how am I supposed to feel? So I think like just giving yourself grace is so important, and like, you know what? Someone out there's gonna want to grab my man titties over here, and that turns them on. So like, know that too. Like whatever you are, there's something for everybody out there.
I'm not for everyone the same way everyone's not for me. And that's another thing I remember. And then the other thing too is you can't hate your body into loving it. Like that's never gonna work. Like you gotta find another way to find that love for your body.
And healing sometimes can start with our thought process. Just like how you're saying, for you, a lot of your magic happens when you shift your perspective. And we think about it, you start changing your thoughts, you change your world. Why? Is because the minute you change that perspective, it shifts your mood. And when your mood shifts, you're more likely to go to the gym. You're more, my CBT people, y'all know what I'm talking about here. But the power of changing our thoughts is so life-changing. I think that's like a hidden gem a lot of people don't know, is you can really start to interpret situations differently if you have a desire to feel different. So it might not be today I'm going to be the baddest bitch and go run a half marathon, but today I feel good about movement. Okay, well, I might go walk my dog, right? Sometimes it doesn't always have to be these extreme measures, but breaking it down into things that we can actually handle and feel good about in the same minute.
And what you just described is something that is practiced in like cognitive behavioral therapy, right?
That's right.
And
CBT. We have a saying in the therapy world, whenever someone comes in with like all this shit they want to work on, all the things they want to like fix, we're always like, well, how do you eat a pizza? And this has changed over the years, but I still use it. How do you eat a pizza? And people always look at me like, you're like, what the fuck? How?
I'm like, wait, how do I eat a pizza?
How do you eat a pizza?
First of all, I share.
I don't.
Well, for most people, you have to eat a pizza slice by slice, one slice at a time, right? You cannot take the whole goddamn pizza. Like, I don't care how hungry you are. That whole fucking pizza ain't gonna fit. Right? So we've got to take down these smaller steps. And like in the therapy world, sometimes that's the way that I break it down for my clients, is like, we can have all of these things, right? And they're all important. And you have an appetite to eat up all of these things, but we've got to go slice by slice. We've got to take it like appetizer, entree, dessert, or a little extra dessert, because in reality, I think a lot of us are seeking that immediate and instant because that's what we're consuming. It's what we're surrounded by. But as humans, what are we most capable of? It's like these small steps really make a lot of impact when we see it as valuable versus like, I'm only celebrating if I eat the whole fucking pizza. So you mean to tell me the first 3 slices you threw back didn't mean shit? Like you ain't as hungry anymore. Metaphorically
I'm usually
speaking.
that type of person. So that's why I need like these reminders to like slow it down, appreciate each step of the way.
Celebrate
because for me,
each slice,
celebrate each slice, because I'm the type of person, if I don't either see immediate results, I go to an extreme. I'm like, this is not working. What's the next thing I gotta learn how to do? What lemon juice diet, whatever, starve myself. Like I go to the extremes, but like it's really good to be reminded that each of these small actionable steps to get you to a place where you feel better and can show results. Because I'm also a person is like, I need to see some type of result or else I can't believe in it, right? And then if I can't believe in it, I get unmotivated. And then I start going through this vicious cycle of trying to just find the next thing and the next thing. And then that's what? Insanity. So bringing it down to those easily digestible steps.
Yeah.
Back to pizza. Digestible steps.
Alright, sweet. All right. Well, if you don't want to eat pizza, it could be a fucking flatbread or something else that makes you feel good about yourself, or a piece of broccoli. But yeah.
Yeah, and I no longer punish myself for eating the pizza. Like, if I go out and have pizza with my friends, kind of like to what you were saying earlier, I might be like, okay, pizza, but I'm going to cut out the crust, right? Or I might just eat the meat.
Eat
I don't know, whatever. Like, it's
the meat.
I will always eat the meat.
We will always eat the meat.
But yeah, it's like we could find different ways to continue to still move through life and enjoy it, right? It doesn't have to be something that we punish ourselves for, and that's really just what I wanted to remind people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can be gentle with ourselves, whether it's around language or even community, the conversations we allow ourselves to have. If you are surrounded by spaces or people you're comfortable talking to, you know, whether it's about your body image, your weight, your health in general, I would highly suggest you start in those safe spaces, because you have no idea what someone might offer you. Sometimes it's encouragement, sometimes it's what works for them, or sometimes it's a referral to come see your favorite queer Samoan therapist, and I can help you.
Okay.
Not the shameless plug.
Yes. Plug it.
Plug it.
Shit.
Plug it.
And the last thing, sorry, I know we're trying to wrap this up. The last thing, you know, when you're talking about safe spaces, the other thing I wanted to mention was, like, you know, how we can play a part in breaking those cycles within our families, right? Like, I see my mum talking to my niece and commenting on her weight, and I interject, you know, I'm very protective of my niece. I'm like, Mom, you need to stop talking about Otila's weight. Sorry, Otila. But, you know, I'm like, Mom, you need to stop talking about her weight, because I see the way that she internalizes everything. And that's going to give her a complex the same way you gave us a complex, you know? So it's like, how can we also play a part in protecting the generation after us, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that we can do what we can to help them build a healthy relationship with their bodies too.
100%. If we can be a lot more mindful or intentional with our language to our young ones, specifically around their body, I definitely think that we have the power to change narratives, especially around like body autonomy, privacy, boundaries, and then of course self-image and confidence. So if maybe you have made those mistakes of where you're like, damn girl, you getting big, like I wonder what it would be like if you could compliment something that maybe you don't see.
Yeah.
Like my favorite compliment personally is like, I love your energy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, yes, you feel that. You don't see it, you feel it. So just a shameless plug for people who maybe don't know how to have this language at home. Start with the non-visible.
Okay.
And you can invite the conversation. If you are wanting to compliment or speak on physical, ask for permission first, right? Like, is it okay if I say something about your outfit? And you can say yes or no. Obviously, with Samoan households, though, or Pacifica households, that looks different. So that's why my encouragement is start with something you can't see.
All right. Okay, and on that, no hoes. Oh, wait, did you have something else to add?
I think on that note, can we maybe share a compliment to close out?
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, cute. I love the
All right.
vulnerability.
Yeah. We're sending the messages telepathically.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Shit, now you're making me do
Well,
work.
I can definitely start. Crit, I appreciate you always, just the way that you organically, you know, take these conversations from space to face. I think it provides a level of safety and structure for me because it just happens organically. I don't feel like, oh, we have to be talking about anything specifically. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh, thank you.
I know we said 1-to-1, but I'm gonna give all of y'all that. Sis, I truly appreciate your vulnerability and sharing your personal journey. I think I am honored to bear witness to that, but also I'm also really excited about the people who are going to receive that, because I personally know a lot of people who come to me for mental health support feel similarly, and you are constantly reminding me of how important representation is. So thank you for standing in your light today. It was an honor to witness. And Salina EsTitties. I want to just celebrate you for, really embracing the fluidity of who you are. I think when we talked before we hopped up here, I was like, damn, I wanted you to be a drag because I'm a fan. But then I think you remind me of how important it is to see people as people, regardless to the other avenues of who we are. And like the fact that you would share that with us today and our audience, I'm super grateful and just honored to hold space with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for all of the love, sis. I really
God, of course.
appreciate you as a person, so many lives that you've touched, myself included. So keep doing the damn thing. Salina, thank you for reminding me that I'm not alone in a lot of my experiences that I used to hold shame around. You truly are a light. And Crit, thank you for being the brother that I never had and can't imagine ever living without.
Love you more. Gosh. Okay, my turn. Gosh, Vailupe, you already know this. Like, she had me sprung the minute I met you. When we talk about game, like Vailupe has so much game, and I'm someone who just appreciates intelligence and light and humor and all those things. So I'm so grateful that you continue to come on this journey with us on this podcast. Jason, gosh, what a blast from the past. Like, I just want to, I think for me, I'm always so drawn to people's magic, and for me to see you speaking your dream into existence back then and to see you living it now, like that's something that I really appreciate about you, and to see you in the gym and stuff. And we didn't really kick it that much. I was busy hooking up with your roommate or whatever, but to see for you to still be open to come down and sit with me, like I really appreciate that. So thank you for coming through, bro. And then Donato, you know how much I love you, and every episode we have, like I love seeing you in your light, and I was drawn to your light the minute I met you at that function like 3 years ago now, right? Like 2-3 years ago.
Oh yeah,
exactly. And I was like, come through to our first thing, and ever since then I've just seen you go from strength to strength, and I take pride in myself in being like, I saw you and I knew what you're capable of, and I'm just so glad I could be a little part of that journey to for us to be on this ride together, and seeing you just like really shine every step of the way. So yeah, thank you for letting me be part of that.
Hell yeah.
Oh my
Tell me you
gosh.
got a therapist on your podcast without telling me you got a therapist on your podcast. We
Oh
love
my
love in the
gosh.
fields here.
Ooh.
Can I say a quick
Oh my God, like your energy is very beautiful and so grounded, and like the way that you speak up for others and are so conscious of others, it's very clear that you're so unselfish, and that is very attractive. And like I strive to be that, for someone who's always on their phones and having to take TikToks of themselves, like that, like being of service to others is very clear that that's your vibe. And I love, and I'm taking that with me after this. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate meeting you today.
Likewise.
My gorgeous queen. Oh my God.
Stop. Okay, that was the
It's so powerful, like the minute you walked into the street and I saw you, I was like, whoosh! It was like you had your own Beyonce wind, and it's just like you exude that power too, and that is just so beautiful, and it's so clear that you're so in touch with who you are, and I see that, and I'm inspired by that, so I'm grateful to be in your presence. And Daddy. Let me see, because if I saw you on the street, I'd be like, fuck, that's the kind of guy that used to push me, and like just off the looks, right? That's the kind of guy that I would be afraid of to be around, and like I don't feel cool enough, and you're so stylistic and sexy and big and broad, and I'd be so scared. But you are so, every time interaction I have with you is so loving, and you let me feel seen when you're the kind of guy I'd be so afraid of, what I mean? Like in the gay world, because I'm like, oh shit, I'm shit. I'm like, but you don't make me feel that way. So it's very, very honored to be a friend of yours, and I'm just very grateful to be here. In most podcasts, I get very derailed, and they trick me to make me say something crazy that gets me canceled, and I don't feel that here. I feel very work. I got to really just be myself and like allow the heart to be shown through. So I really appreciate all you guys for creating the space here and letting me be a crybaby at you on that. Like, I appreciate the vibes. So thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna cry.
No, please cry. The baddest bitches cry.
Yes. Oh,
We
thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
so much. Jason, we love you. Thank you for being here.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
And on that note,
Bye, hoes.